Hey, everybody. This is Allison from Allykatkreations. How are you tonight? My back is killing me, so don't mind the comfy sit back. So the last couple of days has been bananas. The Sherman residence is going bananas. A lot of energy is coming through. We have Thanksgiving incoming, and before I get into the topic, if you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe. That would help me out. I lost count on my income, on how I still don't have it. But the giveaway, I told you it was coming this month. You had to wait. This baby is going to be going home to somebody. So the last one I did it was 24 hours. This one I'm going to let it go for the week, because nothing is going to get to anybody with Black Friday and all that stuff. So I'll be drawing a winner next Monday or Sunday night, and then I'll announce it on Monday, depending. The 29th. That gives everybody time to watch, to like, to subscribe, and to share. And it doesn't necessarily need to be this video. So this has lavender inside, copper, labradorite, sodalite, howlite, turquoise, obsidian, clear quartz, and rose quartz, all mixed in. Really, really good, harmonious energy coming from this one. So that's up for grabs. I have a treat for everybody tonight because I have a lot of reading to do, but I want to get this out of the way because I don't really do cards during readings when I do reading books. But the collective is going through a hard time. We're all energetically having a crazy time. I know I am. I also do want to thank everybody who has been helping me out with food. Donations, no matter how big or how small, always help. And some people are really stepping up to the plate and helping me. Because of NYC and mandates, jobs aren't allowed to tell you. They're not allowed to tell you that they require that, or they prefer it. So what happens? I apply, and then they see my former employer because my resume is not lengthy. Then they figure it out. And there are people trying to help me with getting other jobs out of the state because New Jersey isn't as terrible, but I really don't have money for an Easy Pass or to pay for the gas, which by me today was $3.39, which was pretty low compared to other places, but that's still very high. And I was able to fill my tank up today, thanks to a very generous person that is my bright star right now. And I can go get some food tomorrow. sucks. I don't want to get into it, but let's pick an affirmation card. Let's see what the universe wants us to know tonight before I get started on my topic. I'm extra tingly today, so this is spirit's definitely with me. I am not defined by the mistakes of yesterday. How can I learn from the past and apply it to the future? What will I do if I make a mistake today? How will I react? I'm going to say this. All mistakes are meant to be. We don't like them. They impede our growth. Think about it, does it really? Earth is a school that you come to learn. And without mistakes, you're not going to learn the lessons your soul came here to learn. And then you talk about karma and then repeating the same mistake. Well, yeah, because you're not consciously aware that you're making a mistake. No one's pointing it out to you. Then of course you're going to repeat it over and over again until you learn it. But that's why when we reflect on our lives, no matter how old you are, you could be really young and still reflect back. You tend to look at instances of like trauma and tragedy. And you don't really want to like go there, but you need to because that's how you heal. If I made a mistake today, I thank the creator for making it happen and asking my spirit guides, what can I do to make the situation better? That's what I would do. The biggest thing is you have to follow your heart. You have to follow everybody has intuition. You have to follow it. I've been hurt and abused and taken advantage of so many times in my life. I take things very slowly because I don't want to repeat anybody's past nor mine. And if people don't respect that, you aren't meant to be. Let's get an affirmation. I haven't really done these in a while. You see that there's a book open. I did some good reading, really good reading the last few days. And I'm going to share. Okay. Let's get an affirmation for the collective. Spirit, what does the collective need? I got chills on that one too. Acknowledging apprehension. I have such an itchy nose. When it is a yes, nothing can stop me. When I'm unsure, it's always a no. When apprehension is acknowledged, you become aware of a constant back and forth between polarities. As this back and forth movement occurs, it can feel nearly impossible to make decisive, empowering choices As you acknowledge any apprehension, recognize that either it is your heart trying to warn you or an old choice or pattern you're about to repeat. I don't make this up, guys. I don't make this up. I don't. If you there's a link to that card and this card. I don't make this shit up. To warn you of an old choice or pattern you're about to repeat, or it is a sense of unworthiness that makes you unsure about how to step onto the biggest stage you dream of commanding. The power of discernment bubbles closer to the surface the more often your apprehensions are acknowledged, and it's needed to determine which of these two options is true. This mantra is ideal for resolving indecisiveness, balancing impulsive behaviors, and trusting your instincts. I don't make this stuff up, guys. I don't. And we're gonna pull 2 cards at the end. How's that? I am doing oracle readings. Holidays are coming. Not expensive at all. And I work with people. So if you're interested, email me and I'll give that all at the description box below. So, okay, let's talk about, whoa. Information the last 2 days. Thanks to a beautiful person, I got really amazing books. Morning Star. Channeling Archangel Michael. Oops. Did I say the wrong name? Yep, Lucifer. Channeling Archangel Lucifer. This is an incredible little read. Mind blown. Why? Because when I talked about in the last episode how Halal came to me in a dream, there's some very heavy things in here about what, well, I'll go into, because it ties into, in a different aspect, the law of one, the raw material. And, okay, so I have a lot of bookmarks, and then I lose them. But this is a really cool one. I survived Earth in the 3rd density. Elena Denon has this on her site. You can check out her YouTube, and there's a link there. I will try to find it, her store. I survived. I'm here. I was reading extensively, literally. I read this whole book. I read Megan Rose's book, and then I did try to do some notes on that for something else. And then I'm still tying the predictive programming, and more things are starting to come up because a lot of galactic news is starting to happen and take shape. So I'm still working on it because there's still more before I do any of like the movie stuff I did, that show, like, I researched. This one is a little bit more different. It's difficult because we are heading into a Star Trek future. There is a lot of things that is coming out that are in these shows or movies that there's now other people saying it and talking about it, and more people from different factions. You know, you have different movements and they don't really speak to each other, but when you, as me, I analyze everything and listen to everybody's opinion. And then I kind of collectively all put that together. Let's just say X-Files is like up there with just about all disclosure you would ever want to know about almost everything that actually exists in this dimension. Bananas. Okay. I'm going to read from the Law of One first, and I did not take my stickies out from the last read, so I just want to make sure I'm on the right track. So, session 12, January 28th, 1981, is the last, like this. It didn't blow my mind because I already knew about this, but I thought it might blow people who don't know about the Law of One much. And I mean, you can listen again to Brian Scott of the Reality Revolution, does a lot of that, and he's tackling quote like amazing. Aaron Abke, there's so many people who talk about the Law of One, but I'm twisting in my eyes. So the last time I read, I was kind of talking about the Crusaders, and I talked about Genghis Khan and Hitler. And how it's relating to what's happening here in the here and the now. I don't even know where to begin with this. Wow. So the questioner is asking a question about the Galactic Federation, but they're going to call it the Confederation. I believe it's the same people. And why wasn't there any intervention? Now, before I read this, I just want to say that in the Law of One, but in other laws like the Prime Directive, we're aliens, FYI. We're aliens. Sorry to tell you that. We aren't the only ones in the universe. But they all have laws that they have to abide by, and it's a part of creators' laws. And they can't intervene. The problem is our free will is something they can't impose on. But the negative, what we call baddies, interfered with our free will because we were unknowing to what their agenda was, besides the elite few who signed treaties behind presidents' backs and who did a lot of nefarious things behind humanity without our knowledge to it. Because let's face it, our government doesn't tell us everything. You trust your government? Because I sure don't. Never have. You think you picked your president? Why did they lie to you? Why? They were controlled. Now we'll find out by whom. Questioner, Is there any effort on the part of the Confederation to stop the Orion chariots from arriving here? Ra, I am Ra. Every effort is made to quarantine this planet. However, the network of guardians, much like any other pattern of patrols on whatever level, does not hinder each and every entity from penetrating quarantine. For if request is made in love light, the loved one will be met with acquaintance. If the request is not made due to the slipping through the net, then there is penetration of this net. What does that mean by quarantine? Very, 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 very long time ago, Earth was placed on quarantine because of these things. You could say that it's the firmament. And we're going to go into a little bit, he'll describe it all. The firmament. Just putting that one out there. Who makes this questioner? Who makes this request? And then Roz states, please redo your question. So questioner, I don't understand how the Confederation stops the Orion chariots from coming through the quarantine. Ra, there is contact at the level of light form or light body being, depending upon the vibratory level of the guardian. These guardians sweep reaches of your Earth's energy fields to be aware of any entities approaching. An entity which is approaching is hailed in the name of the one creator. Any entity thus hailed is bathed in love light and will of free will obey the quarantine due to the power of the law of one. There's a huge problem with that. Questioner, what would happen to the entity if he did not obey the quarantine after being hailed? Ra, to not obey quarantine after being hailed on the level of which we speak would be equivalent to your not stopping upon walking into a solid brick wall. Ouch. Questioner, what would happen to the entity if he did this? What would happen to his chariot? Chariot meaning his vehicle, physical, the physicality of the density of their suit, their body, and their craft. If you read Norse mythology and different other mythologies, especially Norse, everybody's on a chariot. Freya has her kitty cats. There's boars, there's goats, there's all kinds of fun shit. Sorry to my North Scandinavian friends. Ra, the creator is one being. The vibratory level of those able to breach the quarantine boundaries is such that upon seeing the love light net, it is impossible to break this law. Therefore, nothing happens. No attempt is made. There is no confrontation. The only beings who are able to penetrate the quarantine are those who discover windows or distortions in the space-time continua surrounding your planet's energy fields. Through these windows they come. These windows are rare and unpredictable. Portals, stargates. We use them too, humans, to get to other places. You better believe it. Does this account for what we call the UFO flaps, where a large number of UFOs showed up in 1973? This is correct. Questioner, are most of the UFOs which are seen in our skies from the Orion group? Ra, many of those seen in your skies are of the Orion group. They send out messages. Some are received by those who are orientated towards service to others. These messages are then altered to be acceptable to those entities while warning of difficulties ahead. This is the most that self-serving entities can do when faced with those whose wish is to be a service to others. The contacts which the group finds most helpful to their cause are those contacts made with entities whose orientation is towards service to self. There are many thought form entities in your skies which are of the positive nature and are the projections of the Confederation. Why is this so important to know? My whole life, I've been attacked, not necessarily by entities of that caliber, but of the archonic realm, because of what I am. And a lot of other people have been too. But it also ties into this. Questioner, you mentioned that Orion Crusaders, when they get through the net, give both technical and non-technical information. I think I know what you mean by technical information, but what type of non-technical information do they give? And am I right in assuming that this is done by telepathic contact? Ra, this is correct. Through telepathy, the philosophy of the law of one with the distortion of service to self is promulgated. In advanced groups, these are rituals and exercises given, and these have been written down just as sorry guys, as the service to others orientated entities have written down the promulgated philosophy of their teachers. This philosophy concerns the service of manipulating others that they may experience service towards the other self. Thus, through these experience become able to appreciate service to self. These entities would become orientated towards service to self and in turn manipulate yet others so that they in turn might experience the service towards the other self. I know that's very, very, very confusing. So somebody who is a person that is a giver, who loves humanity, who is on the right track, who loves to help people, leaves their ego at home, they will sometimes, and I get this too, pick up frequency and get it to, a thought in my mind, which is telepathy, because it's not coming from me, it's coming from outside of me. And they're influencing how you're thinking. So in my past, and I'm being very open with everybody, especially in my 20s, I was very suicidal. I did not want to live. I kept telling my mother to send me back where I came from. I'm adopted, as many of you might know, but if you're new to listening to me, I'm adopted. and it's closed. And I just kept saying the worst shit ever to my parents. And it hurt them. And I didn't care because I didn't want to be alive. But I'm a starseed because the density here does not work with my soul. Doesn't do it. The pain a lot of us experience is because our bodies are not used to being in such harsh density. Even though we're climbing into fourth density right now, that's still very heavy for many of us. Well, I get into a little bit later what wanderers are. Most of us have 6th density souls, which are light, like feathers. So when you're bogging your body down, you get these thoughts and these things that are outside of yourself that are influencing you. And in turn, you influence other people, but not to think about others and be a giver, but to be a self-absorbed shitbag. And this is what I find very interesting because this ties into well, more like that. Questioner, would this be the origin of what we call black magic? Ra, this is correct in one sense and incorrect in another. The Orion group has aided the so-called negatively orientated among your mind, body, spirit complexes. These same entities would be concerning themselves with service to self in any case. And there are many upon your so-called inner planes, which are negatively orientated and thus available as inner teachers or guides and so-called possessors of certain souls who seek the distortion of service to self. Ooh, that's heavy. Questioner, is it possible for an entity here on Earth to be so confused as to call both the Confederation and the Orion group in an alternating way, first one, then the other, and then back to the first again? Ra, it is entirely possible for the untuned channel, as you call that service, to receive both positive and negative communications. If the entity at the base of its confusion is orientated towards service to others, the entity will begin to receive messages of doom. If the entity at the base of the complex of beingness is orientated towards service to self, the crusaders who in this case do not find it necessary to lie will simply begin to give the philosophy they are here to give. Many of your so-called contacts among your people have been confused and self-destructive because the channels were orientated towards service to others, but in the desire for proof, were open to lying information of the crusaders, who then were able to neutralize the effectiveness of the channel. And a lot of people want to know why Elena, Denon, and Megan Rose really stress to other people who do channeling, especially people that are new to it and might be very interested in it, like, wait. Please wait. I know I'm a channel. I channel in my sleep. And there are times I do feel like I'm getting a telepathic information. I don't know from where. I don't accept it because it's not my time yet. And I, nicely decline in my head. No, sorry, if it needs to come, let my guides give it to me. because there's still interference within the web of life. There is still interference of negative thought forms that are happening in and around our planet as we speak still. And it might not be coming from the Nebu-Sikar alliance that has been defeated, but there is a lot of these hybridized entities that are wreaking havoc still on our planet. Yes. And just wait. Like, patience is a virtue. It sucks. You know, I'm happy that mine comes in my dreams and I'm very heavily protected. But that took a long time for my army upstairs to come in and get these idiotic, soul-sucking entities away from me. Completely. And then it just kind of goes on to saying about how they're fourth density, but I found this really interesting. Questioner, are there any Confederation or Orion entities living upon Earth and operating visibly among us in our society at this time? Now, at this time, it's 1981. What's going on in 1981 is that the Great Awakening is just in its infancy. It's been going on for a long time, but the underground bases, Area 51, Dulce, you know, all these like places are basically not known really to the public and what's going on under there. And usually third density cannot see fourth density unless you vibrate at that level. And Ra's response is, there are no entities of either group walking among you at this time, 1981, mind you. However, the Crusaders of Orion use two types of entities to do their bidding. Shall we say the first type is a thought form, the second a kind of robot. Clones. Borgs. Can you describe the robot? The robot may look like any other being. It is a construct. Questioner, is the robot what is normally called the Men in Black? That is incorrect. Who are the Men in Black? They exist too. Ra, the Men in Black are a thought form type of entity which have some beingness to their makeup. They have certain physical characteristics given to them. However, their true vibrational nature is without their density vibrational characteristics, and therefore they're able to materialize and dematerialize when necessary. Bum, bum, bum. Questioner, are all these Men in Black then used by the Orion Crusaders? That is correct. Okay. So we're not talking about the Men in Black that you saw in the movie that everybody loves with not the greatest of actors that are very evil. We're talking about the X-Files type Men in Black, who mysteriously walk to your door and kind of make sure that those men in black. Now this part goes into the wanderers. Now, a lot of people have said that wanderers are not necessarily starseeds and starseeds are not necessarily wanderers, but one or two can be both. I'm in debate about this, but some points do make sense for me. Others don't. So, questioner, you spoke of wanderers. Who are the wanderers? Where do they come from? Ra, imagine, if you will, the sands of your shores. As countless as the grains of sand are the source of intelligent infinity. When a social memory complex has achieved its complete understanding of its desire, it may conclude that its desire is service to others, with the distortion towards reaching their hand, figuratively, to any entities who call for aid. These entities, whom you may call the brothers and sisters of sorrow, move towards this calling of sorrow. These entities are from all reaches of the infinite creation and are bound together by the desire to serve in this distortion. We're going to find out why. And I might go into my opinion of the sorrow part. Questioner, how many of them are incarnate on Earth now? Hence 1981. And I wasn't born yet, 2 years after I was born. Ra, the number is approximate due to a heavy influx of those birthed at this time, due to an intensive need to lighten the planetary vibration and thus aid in the harvest. That's happening now in 21. The number approaches 65 million. So, like in Dolores Cannon, who kind of put through the 3 waves of volunteers. So, like, the first wave, in my opinion, just me and my opinion, is in the 1940s through the 60s, in and around there. And then there was a little bit of a stall. And I believe the second wave is in between 1970, like mid 70s, into the late 80s as a second wave. And then you have like the 90s and into the 2000s being the third wave. And what we're now seeing, what I'm experiencing with my friends who are having children now, is that the majority of them are already upgraded with their DNA. Their kids, especially the ones who have autism and other stuff that is very difficult to handle, those children are extremely special. They already are upgraded and waiting for us to wake the hell up as a collective to help them rebuild the new earth. So if you're in between 1970s and into late 90s, we're having children, not me, but everybody else. Your kids are going to be more creative. And if they express that, give them their creativity and allow it. School, the way the schools are functioning right now, yes, you do need to go to school to learn how to read. You need your kid to learn basic skills in math, and history is going to be rewritten, so I wouldn't worry about that. Basic stuff, yes, but like we've been lied to about just about everything. So, but basic science is acceptable, like the basics. Kids should be knowing this. Kids should learn how to write. But most kids who are unable, they're nonverbal. They're telepathic. When I speak to little kids, sometimes telepathically, and this is me doubting myself because I don't believe I have that power for but they look up at me and they either nod or shake their head, so I know that they hear me. Pretty cool. But that's where we're moving to, guys. And I do believe that many of us who have been reincarnated here for this time, having the role that we do, will be the ones creating different types of schools. And it won't just be writing and learning the basics. It's going to be like the way I wish I was taught, learning the things I need to focus on. Like, I'm an artist. I love creating. And I was a shitty student. I hated school, never liked it, did horrible in school. I went to college. I had a 3.5 overall GPA for somebody who hated school because I went and did something I wanted to do, that I'm passionate about, that I know I'm good at, not to be conceited, but I'm an artist. And that's in the eye of the beholder, but that doesn't matter. If you're good at something like vocational skills, people still need furniture, people still need tchotchkes. I make gold, I create, I give birth to creation. Might not be human, but it's something that these crazy negative Nancys don't have. Okay, off my bandwagon of talking. Let's get back into it. Questioner, are most of these from fourth density, or what density do they come from? This is important. Ra, few they are of fourth density. The largest number of wanderers, as you call them, are of the sixth density. The desire to serve must be distorted towards a great deal of purity of mind and what you may call foolhardiness or bravery, depending upon your distortion complex judgment. The challenge danger of wanderer is that it will forget its mission, become karmically involved, thus be swept into the maelstrom of which it had incarnated to avert the destruction. It's probably why I have lived a lot of lives on Earth, over and over and over and over again. Or I just volunteered to be the healer, to be the oracle, the shaman, the druid, the medicine man. Yes, I was a man in a few of my lives, mostly a female, but some of my lives were a male. I think my last one, I was a male. Still pretty cool. What could one of these entities do to become karmically involved? Could you give an example of that? An entity, and this is Ra, an entity which acts in consciously unloving manner in action with other beings can become karmically involved. Though I do question that we're on the divine creator stage playing out roles that we assigned ourselves to. And in some of these acts of being not so kind, did that for another person's lesson, which was not necessarily in fact bad karma. It was because we signed up for that role. They asked us to do that to them. Complicated. Question, do many of these wanderers have physical ailments in this third density situation? As Amanda Bynes would say, that's me. Ra, due to the extreme variance between the vibratory distortions of third density and those of the more densities, if you will, wanderers have, as a general rule, some form of handicap, difficulty, or feeling of alienation, which is severe. The most common of these difficulties are personality disorders, as you would call them, and body complex ailments, including indicating difficulty in adjustment to the planetary vibrations, such as allergies, as you would call them. Why am I out of a job? My allergies. In city I work in. I'm still looking for another state to move to. If you live in a state that does not Florida, everybody's going there. As much as I would love to be in a warmer spot, I'm not a down south kind of girl. I need a north. I like my seasons. I hate the snow. I hate shoveling it, but it is what it is. But I like my seasons. And write down in the comments if your state is imposing mandates of any sort. And if not, give me some suggestions on where you live, what is working, what is not. And you don't have to give me your address, obviously, but town name, because just giving me like New Jersey, like, but where in New Jersey? Because there's really good parts, there's really expensive parts. I just need a little humble little hovel for myself in a nice near city, like we're like in Staten Island. I'm not necessarily next to Manhattan. It's like 45 minutes with traffic to get there. But like, I like my little seclusion. I have a beach, and that's not a necessary thing, but I like having a beach. I like going to the parks. I like being within nature, and I can get over the bridge and go to New Jersey. But I have stores and I have conveniences really close to my house if anything were to happen. And that's kind of where I'd like to move that idea to another state. So if there is a snowstorm, I can walk to a store. Yeah, you get me, right? Okay. Homework. Who knows? That response right there, if you write it down in the comments, can maybe win you my wolf. And we're almost done with this. Questioner, thank you. And they're just asking about how they can help Carla. So my whole brain going crazy this week had to do with a lot that goes on in here, because in my beliefs, my opinion, Allison's, my opinion, and what I've known for my whole, like the philosophy of my whole life, that it's just like a knowing that I have, it's mine. Creator created everything. All of it. As thought, mathematical. And later on in here, it kind of goes into the next topic I want to tackle, but it's sort of, I'm trying to like skirt this book about the holodeck and the matrix. I'm still trying to pull different sources from different places. about the holodeck, the hologram, the simulation that we are living in, because yes, we are in a simulation. We are in a big LARP, like I've been saying. And I know that's kind of hard to believe, but we're in a materialistic experience. When you reach up different densities, there's different experiences and different things that happen with you as a physical being. Your energy shifts. And because I want to read it to you guys, I can't find the exact line that like I fell in love with. It might be on my phone, so I might have to take that out. But when Halal came to me in that dream, I wasn't scared because knowing that Lucifer, which doesn't like to be called that, is on the other side. He's playing a role in Creator's design. He was given this task to play the adversary. And if you go into, again, the book, The Law of One, it ties in because everything comes from Creator. The positive polarity and the negative polarity. And the negative polarity eventually goes back to the Creator anyway. So good, evil is all in the design. I'm trying to see if Morgan Cat is going to jump here, which I don't want her to, because you don't need cat butt. Yeah, nobody wants to see your cat butt. So Ra goes into the negative and the positive polarities. No, thank you. See, she's trying to wrestle with things over here. And we were all taught to not be distinguishing between Lucifer and Satan. We were told so many damn freaking lies. And we have to start on now undoing and unraveling those lies. The woman who wrote this book, Penelope Badger, it's Beyond the Veil, Morningstar. I'm sorry, guys. I got another light. And I don't want, I'm not going, this is like, please buy this book if you're curious and interested, because this is coming from a channeler who, very much like me, was like very like, no thanks, like not my cup of tea. I don't want to do this. And ended up doing it and being quite shocked at the information she was getting. Of course, Morgan wants to take all my other oracle cards down. I'm hoping it's okay. I didn't get permission to read. I'm not going to read. I'm going to read little chunks of things. But I am Lucifer, Archangel, light bearer, bound to the material realm for all of existence. I am here to assist with transmission of the descension process to convey my wisdom of the material realm in a way that many ascended beings cannot. My light workers on your planet fear me. It is understandable given programming and propaganda supporting my existence. Yet I hold the wisdom, the hidden jewels of what the material is and why it is here, the gift of escaping the bondage of the flesh. And this is what like literally almost made me cry. I am the dark side of the light. And I'm here until all are freed once again. I am that which is not God, except that all is God. We're all fractals of Creator. All of us. And when he says that I'm the dark side of the light, that embodies everything about me. Everything. I am what I am, and I've gone through what I've gone through because people don't see the light that shines within me. They don't see the beacon of light. They only see the gothic dark girl who's like Morticia and likes dark, scary things, and ooh, she's gothic, and don't quite grasp that I'm supposed to be the spark that lights the world, because I am that person that you least expect it from. And I'm not the only one like this that's like, okay, that like teared me up. That part, like, here's a, excuse me. God only loves, therefore he does not have opinions nor cares about his creations in the way one would hope. Your free will is your greatest gift, and consequently your greatest curse as well. God does not intervene in life. He only reveals in it. It is I who cares about man. It is I that have power to teach you about life. I know, that's like, but at this point, the channel is very skeptical and still like, yips, what did I get myself into? There is a part, once you have disciplined yourselves, you can settle into the new normal of eternal truth. Though because of the density of this realm is encoded for forgetfulness, like Raj said, you must stay vigilant, lest you return to slumber once more. So all those people who are awakening up to the truth of what's happening in reality and the things that are going on around us, please don't go back to sleep and be ignorant bliss. I know people like to live in that state because they just want to live a very simple, normal life, but we're at war, and I don't want to see good people hurt or harmed because of that ignorance. Know that you will return to sleep occasionally. It does happen. You must not guilt yourself about this. It is the nature of this dimension. You will be happy to know that awakening is easier each time that you accomplish it. One day you will no longer sleep. Nope, not me. It goes into shadow work, but I'm going to save that for another one. One more thing, Hillel says, before I leave you this day, you are already saved. Your salvation is not necessary because you have never been condemned nor damned. Your ascension or your connection to God need not be restored because it has never been lost. The new earth is not somewhere that you can arrive to because it is here and now and has never been lost. When you choose stillness, which is a great challenge for you in this realm, but when you do choose it and allow everything to fall away, when you sit still in the darkness of the void, there is nothing and no one, where there is no story and nothing to lose and nothing to gain. When you allow yourself to finally surrender all that you are, you will know who you are, who you have always been. For in this space of absolute stillness, where you are completely ceased to be, the only thing left is God. That is what you are. The descent is easy if you release your resistance. If you release your judgments of which is lower or darker, you must embrace the entire spectrum of life in order to fully integrate all polarities and return once again to oneness. Sorry, Morgan. Oneness, oneness. Another validation, another validation. Oneness. Do you fear or judge the sound of a cello or a tuba simply because its frequencies are lower than a flute's? Do you call them evil and condemn them? Do you not? Because lower and darker have not and will not ever mean bad or wrong or evil. It is simply part of the spectrum of infinite expression of source. It is only the darkness within your own soul that you have judged as evil. Of course, this is because you were told so by those who have mistakenly given authority over you. But this is not important now. It is safe to release this belief. It is not yours and it's not God's. No one else's opinions matter. Truth be told. So I recommend, highly, 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 highly recommend, if you are very super curious about Lucifer, amazing book. It's a quick read. You get to understand the channel was very like, no kosher, no bueno, but the nuggets in here are the nuggets in here. They tie together. It's very incredible. I got gifted. Again, I love, guys, like seriously, really, you know, I want to thank, this is like really cool. I got gifted Starry Beginnings Oracle deck. They're holographic. Sick. What does the collective need to hear on this very crazy day? It's 11/22/21. Yeah, a lot. I mean, a lot going on. What does the universe need to give us? What do we need to know on this day, for this holiday? Dream big. Dream with your heart. Let's read what that says. There's no point in dreaming small because you think that's all you deserve or all you'll get. That is when the mind and fear is involved. Dream with your heart, lead with your heart. Your heart knows that you deserve everything, all that you dream of, you deserve the best. The heart knows you can achieve this. Forget about how the universe takes care of that. Focus with your heart on the what. You know the heart is involved when you love what you are wishing for. Love is the feeling. Love is the creator. Fear is the tear it down feeling. So love, love, love the dream. Build it up with love. Build it with love. Create with love as energy. When you love, you can create anything. Your heart is open. Can you feel it? Love is the power of all, the most powerful force in the universe. Reach high, dream it with love, 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 love. Unconditional love is the best love. Okay, I'm a very fan of this deck. Love it, love it, love it, love it. And now, Shaman's Dream. I just love the imagery on this deck. It's large. I'm wearing my kitty gloves. My hair is getting stuck. What does the universe want us to know tonight? What messages can we be left? And for my new people who I know, I have some new subscribers. Hi. So tarot card readers, oracle card readers, everybody pulls their cards differently. Some shuffle until they fly out. I could do that, but I energetically scan the cards with my hand and I get really heavy, like tingling sensation to what card to pull. And sometimes if they get stuck, I'll pull the cards out and then I'll feel, and that's how I go about my reading. Yeah, like tingling. Mazel tov. There's an explosion of cards. And again, explosion of cards. Get those in a minute. Sorry, cards. All right. We got the crossing initiation. Rite of passage initiation. You have come to stand on one side of a river. The opposite bank leads into the darkness of the eternal cave, where the old dies and the new is born again. This is the place where time is forgotten and the seasons cease their dance and stand still, as if in temporary repose. You must cross the river now, honoring and respecting this transition, for it is time to say goodbye to your old ways and navigating your world. Don't be afraid. You've come to the edge of the river because you're ready. You're ready to let go of what doesn't serve you and all the ways in which you kept yourself from truly living. Intimacy requires vulnerability and truth. Can you strip away the masks and the barriers of false strength to discover what you really are made of? Step in the boat and waiting for you. Let it carry you into the cave where the shadows are waiting to be illuminated, so you can be born again into the world without denial or artifice. Making the crossing is a beautiful, powerful act of highest love. Well, if that doesn't sync with those books, being the darkest, being on the other side of the dark is light. Crazy. And we're trying to form a new earth. So what we would consider normal will no longer be normal. Because why would you want to go back to a system that is no bueno for you? Why? Many of us came here. I'm just making sure. I'm going to have to go on a card hunt after. We have to make sure that we are in moving into a time of transformation that's going to take a few years. I know that I had to walk away from something that I love, but it was not serving me properly, and that was the old job. I know that I'm having a really rough life right now, and I'm not trying to let it eat at my soul, because I know that what I'm supposed to be doing in the near future is to research the beginning of the time into space and connect it and combine it and weave it together. Because the beginnings of our planet have everything to do with now and what's going on upstairs. Trust me. But The Morning Star channeling Archangel Lucifer by Penelope Badger. I'm going to link this down in the description box. Obviously, The Law of One is amazing. I have the 40th anniversary set, but I read from volume 1. I will link that. And again, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to my channel for a chance to win my wolf creation. And make sure I have a way of getting in touch with you, because some people are subscribed, but I can't, obviously you're not giving your information out. But if you win, I need your information, so make sure I can get to it, okay? So write in the comments. You have a week. I'll be drawing a winner either Sunday night or on Monday, who the winner is. And then I'll get your information and you get this awesome fluffy. So I am thankful, and my gratitude is beyond words to the people who have been helping me out in whatever way: prayers, love donations, food, just anything to keep me going. I am still in limbo with just about everything is being held up that's out of my control. But if you can have it in your heart to help me out, paypal.me/AllyKatzkreations211, Venmo at AllyKatzkreations211. You can email me at AllyKatzkreations211@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook at AllyKatzkreations, where you can get all my creations. If you see something, say something, PM me. You can find me on Instagram at AllyKatz. And I have a couple of, I have a lot of my creations up on that page, but then I put a lot of linking of some stuff that other spots don't have. I'll leave it at that. But yes, I most likely will do a video later in the week. I'm still reading and like putting a lot together, and I would like to condense it. I don't want this going on forever. Definitely a few people like the tarot deck readings. I'm trying to formulate a better way to do it. I have a little bit of a better lighting system, but the table space, the phone doesn't function properly. It's bananas. So I'm trying to figure that out, to do it like the other people, to make it easier to see. But it is what it is. So I'll figure that out during the week. Wishing everybody a really good holiday if you're not back. Sending you all love and light. Praying for each and every one of you who watches. Please like, share, and subscribe to help me out. Thank you so much. Until next time, it's only going to keep getting better.